Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Sumit and I'm a web analytic consultant and I welcome all of you to bispsolutions.com. While working on a project, I come across a very useful functionality of web analytics which I would like to share with you, and that functionality is selection binding. So a lot of people have been asked me that how to perform selection binding, what do we mean by selection binding, and what's the useful of selection binding in wave analytics. So therefore I decided to record this video to give you more detailed information about selection binding. So selection binding is a method which is used in wave analytics to update a step. That step could be a static step or it could be an aggregated step, and based on the selection in that step, another step gets updated, gets aggregated, and one widget will be get reflected based on that updated or aggregated step. So basically selection bindings are interaction driven, where it is evaluated every time and whenever the user selects something in a widget, and based on that selection the visualization gets updated, or the widget which is associated with that step, it gets updated. So in this video, I'm going to take a very small example, but with real-time data set, and there will be going to apply some filters by applying selection binding. So here I'm using opportunity data set, or the records from opportunity object, where we have couple of records and we would like to apply filters based on the selection, or based on the selection we made in a widget. So we will be doing from the scratch. First of all, we'll be loading the data from Salesforce into Wave Analytics, and then we'll be going to apply selection binding into that. So as you can see here, I have successfully logged in into my developers account of Wave Analytics, and that's my developers account of Wave Analytics. So first of all, I would like to load the data from opportunity. So I need to create a new data set named as opportunity. So click on create dataset Salesforce, and I set here opportunity, and after that we need to add fields into it. So I'm going to add fields. I select amount, close date, not deleted one, I say fiscal period, fiscal year, or fiscal quarter. Then I'll say name and opportunity type, probability, stage, and so on. And now if I would like to check the records, so if I would like to look at I would like to get the JSON for this, so I can expand this and we can see the JSON for the current data set, or we can download JSON directly by going into data manager. So I'll create this data set and I give it name as opportunity. I'm creating this app, I'm storing this data set into my private app, create. Okay, because it will add in a data flow, we need to explicitly start that data flow process. So I'll just click on start. So it gets started. So I can check the status is running right now. It will take some time to refresh the status or to update this. As you can see here, the status has been successfully updated, and it means that the data has been successfully added into Wave Analytics. So before closing this, I would like to download the JSON for opportunity for the current data set which we have loaded. So I simply download this, and I'll give this name as Salesforce Edge ELT workflow. Now, why I'm downloading this, that in future if you want to use it, if you want to make some changes into JSON, we can do it from here. Or if you are not sure about that, if you don't want to download, no issues, I'll just leave this and simply close this data manager. So I close this data manager, close this data set, and I'll say all, and data set. So you can see a new opportunity data set has been successfully added. Now we'll be going to create a new dashboard by using this data set. So first of all, I'm going to create a new dashboard. So I click on create dashboard. I select blank dashboard, continue. And first of all, I just name this dashboard as opportunity dashboard. I need to create a step into this and I want to display the opportunities. So let's create a step here. Click on create step. Select a data set. So I select opportunity data set, count of rows, and I group it by stage. So now as you can see here, there are 385 records only for close won, 131 for close lost, 35 for need analysis, 17 for negotiation review, 28 for perception analysis. If I want to further filter it, so I just apply a filter, or we can apply a filter if you want based on close date or opportunity ID or fiscal year or count of rows. So we can apply a filter. Now I want to display top 10 records. So we can say less than, greater than, equal to. So we have the records, or we can set between 0 to 1. So from 0 to 1 or 0 to 10. So we can apply filters like this. Now this the data set, and I would like to apply the selection binding on this data set. So I give a name to this step, and I give a name as stage, or let's say step 1. We can give any name. I'll give stage count, stage count. So that's the name of the step, and click on done. So you can see a new step has been added, and I can drag and drop this step, and it will be accessible here. It would be visible. So this is for count of rows. In same manner, instead of count of rows, if I want to show sum of amount based on stage wise, so I can create one more step. I create another step, select again, select opportunity, and this time I set sum of amount based on stage wise. So you can see that's the second visualization, that is sum of amount, and sum of amount stage wise. So I'll just give this name as well, total amount, and click on done. So we have two steps. I can drag and drop this step as well, and if we click simply preview it, so we can have two visualizations, sum of amount and count of rows. So very first thing I want to do is I want to combine these two visualization in one chart. So for that I would be requiring a kind of a control or kind of a widget, is something widget like this, where if we say sum of amount, the same visualization will display sum of amount. If I select count of rows, the same chart will display me count of rows. So basically the one widget would be displaying the output based on the selection we made on another widget. We will not be requiring the second widget to be displayed on the dashboard. So let's see how can we achieve this. So let me close this first of all. So in order to do that, first of all, we need to create a new control call. We need to add a new control called toggle control. So I add and drop a toggle control here. And in this toggle control, I simply drag and drop stage count. So in this stage count, you can see various stages are coming. Actually, we'll be going to customize this stage count later on. This is just for a purpose so that we can have a widget on our widget. So, or if we don't want, we can close it, we can delete it, and we can add widget later on as well. So both the ways are fine. So let's do like this. I delete this widget, and now I get to I'm going to open this JSON for this dashboard. So to open JSON, or to get the JSON for this dashboard, press Ctrl E. So in this JSON, you can see we have steps. So we have total 2 steps. total amount 1, stage count, we have two widgets, chart 1, chart 2, and that's the visualization for, that's the grid layout. So we are not going to touch this grid layout. The data set is common for both the charts, for both these steps. So we're not going to work on this data set as well. The very first thing I will be doing is I'm going to create a new step, and I give this name as toggle underscore selector. I give the name, I set the name as toggle underscore selector, and in this toggle underscore selector, so first thing is select mode will be single, then values, so I need to add first value. So the first value display, I display the first value as, let's say, sum of amount, and I want to have another display, so I comma and add another display. See, so the another display would be total records, or say count of records. So that's the display value, but whenever we made a selection, so what value it will be going to return. So we need to create a value property as well. We need to set the value property for this, for both the, so I set the value property for this as well, value, and here in this value, so the first, this is sum of amount, so I'll get to total account, and here we have sum of amount, so I just copy sum of amount. So or either we, or else we can simply write it sum comma amount. So, and just make sure that it's a case sensitive language, so whatever you would be you would be writing that, or whatever you be providing, that would be in case sensitive. Next is count of records. So for count of records, I would be counting from stage count, and I'll write count star. So because as you can see here in both the steps, the group is same. The group is stage name in the first step, and the group is stage name in second step as well. Only the measures are changing. So same thing we are trying to do. We'll be going to keep the measure same, the group same, and only the measure will be changing. So count star, and here I paste count star. And so this close here, so we have double brackets, and I'm going to add this. Now here I need to add the data set, so I simply copy paste the whole data set. After that is we add few more properties, is global set to false, type static, is facet false, and I want to set the start value as well, because there would be no starting value for it. So I set the start value as count star. I want, by default it will be counting the values, it will be displaying the count values, so count star. So we have created one step. So we have created one step, and let's done it. Now just for safety purpose, I am going to copy and paste it in a notepad, so that if any issue occurs, at least we can get it back. So I simply done it, and after we done it, you'll see we will have a new step named as toggle selector. Now I drag and drop a toggle control, and in this toggle control I drag and drop this step toggle selector. So see, we are getting two values sum of account and count of records. So I'll just revert back, and sum of amount and count of records. Now if we preview it, we can select one value at a time, sum of amount or count of records. And when we say sum of amount, I want this chart should be display sum of amount. If I say count of records, so this chart should display count of record. So the very first thing, now the next step we have to do is we have to bind this widget with the selection of this step. So for that, we get back to the JSON for it, and we have steps. So what I will be doing, I will be customizing these steps. So we have this toggle selector, and I'm updating this total amount, and in this total amount, I only update the measure. So I only change the measure, and in measure, instead of this, I write the measure as double quotes, double brackets, and the measure should be selection we done on toggle selector. So select, so whatever value we select in toggle selector, it will pass its value over here in this step. And because the chart one would be dependent on this total one, so we can get to chart one, and in this chart one, the chart one step is stage count, and chart two step is total amount one. So whatever changes will made in total amount, means whenever we made a selection in toggle selector, based on the value, this total amount measure will get updated. The group will remain same. So selector, toggle selector. Let's check it. So I'll done it. So one error is coming. Let me resolve this error. So as you can see here, we are getting an error. So what's the issue is, we'll get back to the JSON, and in JSON, the total amount, the type is aggregate flex. So I remove the flex keyword from here, and I just keep it aggregate. So basically the type aggregation means this would be based on the value or the selection which will be getting from the toggle selector control or toggle selector step. So let's click on done and validate it. So I click on done, and by default you see it's showing count of rows. If I just preview it, I say sum of amount, so automatically you see that this chart has been updating as sum of amount. And if I click on count of rows or count of records, so it would be displaying as count of rows. In continuation of that, I would like to add one more widget, one more toggle that would be displaying the top 5 or top 3 records. And now I would not be requiring this chart. I would not be requiring this widget. So, and I'll just check this, the stage count 1, and this would be using step total amount 1. So I'm just removing this. So I remove this step. So I left with only one widget here. Now the next thing is I'm going to create one more step, and that step would be calculating the top 5 and top 10 values. So again I get back to the JSON, and very quickly I create one more step here, and the step is I set as step underscore limit. That's the new step. Set type as static. It should be in double quotes. Let's increase the size so that it would be visible to all of you. Select mode would be single. Values, I'm going to add values into it. So the first value, I'll just add a display, and it would be displaying top 5, and its value is 5. Then I just copy this and paste it, and I'll give it as top 3, and this would be 3. So we have got another step. Let's done it. And very quickly, I again drag and drop one more toggle control, another toggle control, and in this toggle control, I drag this step which we have set as step limit. So we have top 5 and top 3. Now the SQL query should be something like this, that I would like to display top 3 records for total sum of amount, or top 3 records of count of records. In same manner, top 5 records for count of records and top 3 records for sum of amount. So that's kind of visualization I would like to do. But again, this has not been bind with the current selection we have done. So again, I get back to the total amount step, and in this total amount step, we need to add one limit. So to add a limit into this total underscore amount underscore 1, so after this measure, I add one more property set as limit, and the limit would be the value. Limit is, we will be getting the value. So limit is value selection, and the selection we done on step underscore limit. So I just copy this one, step underscore limit, copy and paste it within this. So 1 2, and bad string limit should be in double quotes, fine. Let's validate it. So first of all, I've done it, and let's preview it. So if I select top 3, so see the chart gets updated and it's showing only top 3 values. I say sum of amount, so top 3 sum of amounts, and I say count of records, so total top 3 count of records. So that's how we can apply visualization, or we can apply filters on graph as well, on widget as well. Let me add one more visualization onto it, one more filters on it. So here I would like to apply a filter based on the selections we have: close, lost, close, won, and need analysis. So I would like to see closed, lost, and closed, won. So I would like to display two more filters. Basically, I would like to add one more widget here as a new toggle control, which would be showing close, lost, and close, won. So let's apply that filter. So for that, I'm using a list here, and in this list, this list will be displaying all the total number, all the stages we have. So I click on list and I select stage name and create. So as you can see here, it quickly created all the stages along with the total counts. So I'll get to the measure field and I set the measure field as none. So we'll be getting only close, lost, close, won, and all. So I'll just minimize it or arrange it properly, and we can preview it. So we have a stage name. I want to see, first of all, I remove this top 3 and count of records. So we have this, and now I want to see for closed, lost. So it will show me only closed, lost, and closed, won. So this is basically because we have single selection. So I select this one, and here in a step, I set this to multiple selections. So here we have multiple selections, and we can select multiple values. So I select close, lost, close, won, and need analysis. So we have 3 selections we have done, and then I say sum of amount and count of records, top 5 and top 3. So this is because we are already on top 3. So this won't work, but sum of amount and count of records are working. So that's how we can work on selection binding in Wave Analytics, or we can create a dashboard by using selection binding, or by applying selection binding by customizing the JSON file. So that's all in this video. If you have any queries, you can write to us on www.bispsolutions.com. You can connect with us for customizing your data set, for preparing dashboards for your data sets. We are into consultancy as well, or we'll be providing online trainings. Keep watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.